Hey guys, Bump here, bringing you the first out of hopefully many 9.2 videos. Today we're taking an initial look at the new tier set bonuses. If you haven't watched the news, there will be tier sets in 9.2 and both Frost and Unholy has gotten some new ones. So let's take an initial look, talk about the potential power, potential meta changes, what we'll see in terms of talent changes and so on due to these tier sets. We'll jump straight into it by taking a look at the Frost tier sets. We have a 2-piece, which says that Remorseless Winter grants 8% critical strike while active. So not too exciting, slightly boring to be honest. It feeds into an already very impactful Remorseless Winter window. We already run Gathering Storm, we have the Everfrost Potency Conduit, that all kind of bakes into making Remorseless Winter this kind of proper cooldown. 8% crit is obviously nice, so the Frost DK kind of likes to stack crit, so that's going to be good for us. We will see a roughly 60% uptime on Remorseless Winter, so we can expect something like a 4 to 5% overall crit percentage increase, which is, roughly 4 or 5% damage. That's my estimate, but slightly boring, not too much interactivity on change of play due to this one. Now, when we take a look at the 4-piece, we have a lot more to talk about. So this one says that consuming Killing Machine fires a glacial advance through your target. Alright, so I think there's two major bits to break down there. We got the damage portion, and we got the rune fort portion. So start with the damage one. So Glacial Advance deals like 70% of an Obliterate in terms of damage. So this essentially just buffs your Killing Machine Obliterate. So instead of doing 200% of your normal Obliterate damage, they will do something like 270% on single target, of course. For AoE, this is going to be quite a chunky bit. Glacial Advance hits quite hard, and especially with builds with Obliteration, we'll see a ton of Glacial Advance just firing off. I think this might make Obliteration viable as a Myth Plus talent, because it gives it that AoE that it was surely missing. Second portion, Glacial Advance applies stacks of Razorize when it hits the target, and you don't need to have the Rune Forge on your weapon at all. This essentially makes it so that we can skip using the Razorize Rune Forge and simply use the 4-piece to apply it. Now, it won't apply that quickly, so if you have to switch your targets and so on, it's going to take a while. If you're running Obliteration, it's going to be much quicker because you instantly get some Killing Machine procs out, but with Breath builds, it's going to take a bit longer. I don't expect you to ever drop your Razorize stacks on a single target encounter, so nothing to worry about there, because you do get 8 Killing Machine procs per minute or so, and that's enough to get you going. Now, if we can use our Razorize from the 4-piece, obviously we can use another Rune Forge on our weapon. For two-handed builds, this is excellent, because we have another Rune Forge which we really would want to use, but we can't, and it's the Rune of the Fallen Crusader. So for two-handed builds that generally run Razorize on single target, you would put Rune of the Fallen Crusader and essentially get 2 Rune Forges. And this is like an 8% damage increase, getting that second, getting Rune of the Fallen Crusader, so having 2 Rune Forges is a big buff. For dual wield, we are a bit in a pickle, because there really aren't any good options that aren't Razorize and Rune of the Fallen Crusader. We have Rune of Hysteria, which is obviously quite nice with Breath Synagosa builds. It makes you able to prolong that breath a little bit longer because your new power generation is a bit higher. However, it's only like a 2.5% DPS upgrade, so not too significant. And dual wield Obliteration builds, which is a 0% upgrade. Dual wield Obliteration doesn't starve on resources, so getting extra resources from another Rune Forge just doesn't give you anything, right? So what you end up is, dual wield, they don't really gain much from getting the extra Rune Forge. So now it comes to the impact of this. So first of all, Obliteration is going to become more viable in Mythic Plus. And that's excellent because we want some talent diversity, so now we can run Obliteration and you can deal good AoE damage. Furthermore, two-handed Obliteration is definitely buffed if you compare to dual wield. Allowing you to have that second Runeforged is much better than dual wield having that third. So you might see two-handed Obliteration being a better option both in single target and possibly in AoE. I can't promise anything, but if you just look at this face value, that is what it seems to indicate. But we'll see, When it comes to power of this, I'm not too sure. I've not had too much of a look at the other sets to tell you if this is an excellent 4-piece. It's going to be quite good for two-hander. It's going to be good in AoE, but it's hard to say if it's lackluster, and it might actually be lackluster. We're going to have to wait to see what the simulations say exactly, what kind of damage increase we get. Anyway, that was everything for Frost. Let's take a look at Unholy. And to start off, this set piece is exciting and is also really quite interesting in my opinion. It's fully focused on execute damage. That's important due to several reasons. Or one reason actually. Execute damage is generally very important in a raid. The last 35% of your boss HP is more important than the first 35% almost every single time. Obviously, sometimes you have bosses which die at 45%. I'm looking at you, Sylvanas. Don't give us another one of those. Generally, though, you know, in this current tier, we have Paintsmith, we have Fate Scribe, we have Kel'Thuzad. Well, maybe not so much Kel'Thuzad, but multiple bosses where, you know, you want that heavy execute damage. And if we as Unholy can bring the best execute damage overall, we're going to be wanted in a raid setting. You don't care that much about, you know, the first burst damage, whatever. You care about killing the boss. And killing the boss means execute damages. Lovely. Enough about that. Let's actually take a look at the set. So 2-piece, we have that every 5th Clawing Shadows or Scourge Strike cast Soul Reap on your target. Soul Reap's secondary effect grants your ghoul 20% attack speed for 10 seconds. Now this essentially means that we get much more Soul Reapers going out. It's not that many. I had a look at one of my Guardian logs. I had something like 18 Soul Reapers, and this set would have given me 4 more. So it's not significantly more Soul Reapers. I'm talking about the 4 more in the execute range. Obviously you get more Soul Reapers overall, but the ones before execute don't do that much. The damage you get is essentially the same as if you use a normal Scourge Strike. You can think about this as first 65% of the boss, your Scourge Strike and Clawing Shadows deal 20% more damage. And then the last bit, you get a couple more Soul Reapers. Your ghoul gets 20% attack speed whenever your secondary effect triggers. This is obviously nice because your ghoul is quite a significant part of your damage. So, you know, just as soon as you go into execute range, you're going to get a 12% buff on your ghoul, and it's going to just keep going. Because Soul Reaper debuff was sold it cooldown is 5 seconds, so this is going to be 100% uptime on your ghoul. Which is nice because this brings you more execute. Now, 4-piece. Whenever the Soul Reaper secondary effect triggers, you summon an army of the dead ghoul. Now this is when we get into the big execute. I mentioned earlier, I had 18 Soul Reapers in my execute window. That's going to be 18 army ghouls. And normal army is 8 ghouls. So you essentially get 2 extra armies in execute. Imagine you enter execute, you get Bloodlust, your Soul Reapers start rolling, and you just summon ghoul of ghoul of the ghoul. And you know, you're going to have like 10 up at a given point of time during your execute, and it's going to be so much damage. We'll see though. I'm quite excited for this. I'm not too sure how tuned this is, but on paper, it looks like we're going to be the best execute in the game. We'll see. I might be wrong about that. You know, Warrior might have something I haven't looked enough in the other sets, but it does look very good. Some questions we need to ask here. You know, what happens if you have a Soul Reaper debuff on your target and you proc another one from a 2-piece? Do they overlap? What happens? Will the ghoul summoning actually summon a Marks of the Dead? Also an important question to ask. I don't know. We're going to have to test this as soon as we get on PTR, and I will make sure to make an updated video on this. My initial feeling though is that this is very exciting. We're going to do so much execute damage, and I feel like that's going to be a very good thing to bring to a raid setting. Alright, that was everything I have for you today. I hope you find this video interesting. Do leave a comment down below what you think about the set bonuses. If you think they're going to be powerful, weak, what they're fun, boring, exciting, whatever you want. Do leave an upvote, downvote, depending on what you thought about this video. You can always find me on the Across Discord. Do ping me if you have any questions. And do consider subscribing if you want to see more of this kind of content. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more content. Thank you.